My girlfriend mentioned that her trip with her supposed ex was planned before our relationship deepened. As she broke the news about canceling her visit to me, I set up a fake Instagram profile and discovered she was deceiving not just me, but others too. I've been with Mila for roughly 8 months. We connected through shared friends at a birthday bash in Chicago. It felt like love at first sight, something you hear about but never expect. She strolled in wearing a retro band tee, her laugh echoing through the room. Our chats about music and travel made it seem like we'd been friends forever. For the first 4 months, we were glued to each other's daily outings, meeting each other's pals, dreaming about our future. Weekends were spent at my place, cooking meals, watching Netflix marathons, and diving into heartfelt talks about our aspirations. I truly believed she was my soulmate, the one who truly understood me. Then, my job offered me a game-changing role, leading a major software project in Munich. It was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, but it meant 6 to 8 months abroad. When I shared the news with Mila, she was upset at first but soon warmed to the idea. "Imagine all the places we'll explore when I visit," she said, calling it our European escapade. Long distance was tough, no doubt. With an 8-hour time difference, I'd wake to her good morning texts and fall asleep during video calls, but we kept it alive. Daily FaceTime, endless WhatsApp chats, and care packages filled with personal jokes and favorite treats kept us connected. She was thrilled about visiting this summer, talking about hitting Christmas markets early, touring Prague and Vienna, and proving our love was the real deal. I planned everything meticulously, researching weekend getaways, learning basic German to impress her, even considering a cozier apartment for her stay. I counted down the days, marking them off on a calendar. Then, 3 weeks before her visit, during our usual Sunday video call, she hit me with devastating news. "Leo, I can't make it to Germany," she said. "Jonah's planned a whole European trip for us, and it's too late to change it." My heart sank. Jonah, her ex, the one she swore was just a friend with no romantic ties. Staring at my screen, watching her dodge my gaze, I felt my world crumble. "What do you mean, Jonah's planned a trip?" I asked, struggling to stay calm. "When did this happen? You never mentioned it." Her defensiveness was a glaring warning sign. "It's not what you think, Leo," she said. "We planned this ages ago, before we got serious. It's just a friend thing, and he's already paid for it all. I can't bail on him." But we were serious, months deep, fully committed. I'd been loyal, planning our future, and now she was prioritizing her ex over our long-awaited reunion. "What about our plans?" I pressed. "Exploring Europe together. Proving we can make this work." She just shrugged, suggesting we reschedule or I fly back to Chicago for a weekend. I tried to compromise. Could I join part of their trip? Could she visit me first? Could we shift her visit by a week? But she had excuses for everything. Flights were too costly to change. Jonah had booked hotels for 2. Her work schedule was too hectic. The worst part was her indifference. No tears, no apologies, just a casual, maybe next time vibe. After the call, I sat in my apartment, staring at the travel brochures and reservations I'd made, feeling like a fool for thinking I was her priority. Her last message before her trip was a curt "sleep well. No, I'll miss you," or "I wish you were here." Just silence. A week later, she was radio silent. No updates, no photos, no "thinking of you" texts. Yet her Instagram stories were nonstop. Fancy dinners in Prague, castle views, scenic train rides, and her looking far too cozy with Jonah for just friends. One story showed his arm around her. Another had them sharing dessert. These weren't platonic vibes. Am I nuts for thinking I'm her backup plan? That I was never her priority? Part of me wants to confront her, but another part says to walk away. What would you do? Is this as bad as it feels? I feel like I've been living a lie for 8 months. Edit. Your responses are helping me see I'm not crazy. The fact that Jonah paid for everything stings the most. Many of you say to end it now, and I know you're probably right, but 8 months is tough to let go. This was supposed to be the real thing. Update 1 posted 2 weeks ago. The truth is worse than I feared. I did something I'm not proud of but felt necessary to stop my spiraling thoughts. I created a fake Instagram account, carefully crafted to look legit. Photos from a fitness influencer, a believable bio, mutual friends, the works. Let's call this persona Jordan. A few days after Mila's latest story, her and Jonah toasting wine in Prague, Jordan messaged her. "Hey, you seem familiar. Were you at Jake's birthday party in that vintage Nirvana tee?" She replied within an hour, instantly flirty. Oh my god. I don't think we met, but I definitely remember someone. Like you, I kept it casual, asking about her trip, complimenting her photos. Then she dropped a bombshell that froze me. Thanks. Just wrapped an amazing Eastern Europe trip. I'm actually single now, though. Ended a serious relationship with this German guy a month ago. He was too paranoid, always questioning me. It got toxic a month ago. 6 weeks ago, we had an anniversary call where she said she loved me and couldn't wait for our future. It got worse. When I asked who she traveled with, she said, just close friends, nothing romantic. No mention of Jonah, her supposed ex. Then she asked Jordan if he was single and wanted to meet up in Chicago. Meanwhile, she was still texting me on WhatsApp, same pet names, same miss you baby texts, acting like nothing was wrong. I saw her active on both platforms, telling Jordan she was so single while texting me I was the love of her life. I screenshotted everything, every lie, every contradiction. It was sickening. If she was telling Jordan she was single and had dumped a German guy, what was she telling Jonah about me? I suspected she was lying to everyone. I found Jonah's best friend, Mark, through mutual connections and sent him a message. This sounds wild, but I think Jonah and I are being lied to by Mila. I'm her boyfriend of 8 months, long, in Germany. She cancelled her visit to me for this trip with Jonah, who she said was her ex, but now she's telling others she's single. I have proof. 3 hours later, Mark replied, shattering my world. Dude, Jonah doesn't know about you. They never broke up. Mila's his girlfriend of over a year. He thinks they're on a romantic vacation. He's even talking about proposing. Mark sent the evidence to Jonah, who confronted Mila that night in Vienna. It was explosive. She tried to dismiss it as a misunderstanding, claiming the Jordan chats were just friendly, but the proof was undeniable. Jonah ended the trip early, booked a flight home, and left her stranded in Vienna. She bombarded him with texts, begging for another chance, claiming I was a crazy ex, sabotaging her. But Jonah was done. Mark said their friend group saw the screenshots, and everyone knew what she'd done. Yesterday, she texted me from a new number. Leo, there's been a huge mix-up. Can we talk? I miss you and can explain everything. I haven't replied and don't know if I will. Seeing how effortlessly she lied to everyone, manipulating multiple people without remorse, I know I dodged a bullet. Edit. Jonah seems like a solid guy who deserved better. We haven't spoken, but Mark says he's handling it well. I deleted the fake Instagram account after getting the evidence. Not proud, but I had to know. Update to posted 1 week ago. The fallout has been wild, and writing this is cathartic. Mila's attempts to reach me have turned obsessive. After ignoring her misunderstanding text, she started calling from random numbers. When I blocked unknown calls, she made new Instagram accounts, sending desperate messages. Please, let me explain. You don't get the full story. I love you, and we can fix this. Jonah was just a friend. I screenshotted every attempt and sent them to Mark, who's kept me in the loop. When Mila returned to Chicago, her social circle had seen the evidence. Jonah shared the screenshots with 15 to 20 mutual friends, who'd seen her post couple photos with him while she told others she was single. Then came the jaw-dropper. This wasn't her first time. After Jonah's situation blew up, 3 other guys came forward with similar stories. Guy 1 thought he and Mila were headed for something exclusive after 4 months of her saying she was basically single. Guy 2, from her CrossFit gym, thought their coffee meets were dates, as she downplayed her casual long relationship. Guy 3, a co-worker, got flirty texts and happy hour invites, with Mila claiming she was single and open to dating. None of us knew about each other, Jonah or me. She juggled 5 guys, telling each what we wanted to hear. Her best friend Sarah knew about some of this, but stayed silent. When Jonah confronted her, Sarah admitted she'd been uneasy but never called Mila out. Their friend group cut Mila off people she'd known since college. Her roommate Emma moved out, unable to handle the drama. Mila's social media went silent. Then, Mark sent me a screenshot of Jonah's Instagram story, a subtle but scathing post. Trust your gut. If someone makes you question reality, if their words don't match their actions, you're not the issue. You deserve honesty, not games. Don't ignore red flags hoping someone will change. It was shared by dozens in their circle, tanking Mila's reputation. Meanwhile, I'm thriving in Munich. My project's ahead of schedule, and my German colleagues are great. I've started seeing Anna, a local I met at a language exchange. She's honest, mature, and a breath of fresh air compared to Mila. Games, a Chicago friend told me. Mila's been asking around for my contact info, claiming I sabotaged her and Jonah out of jealousy. The nerve is almost impressive. I've been reflecting on why I stayed in that toxic dynamic. I learned about triangulation. Mila pitted us against each other to feed her ego. We each thought we were special, but we were just pawns. Edit. Anna and I are still going strong. It's early, but healthy communication is a game changer. Final update posted 3 days ago. 6 months later, and you've been asking for the final chapter of this saga. The karma is unreal. I'm doing great. Anna and I are officially together. She's honest, supportive, everything a relationship should be. My project wraps up soon, and we're planning her move to Chicago with me. If that doesn't work, we'll do long distance right with clear communication and respect. Compared to Mila, it's night and day. I never doubt where I stand with Anna. As for Mila, her life's imploded, Mark says, after losing her friends and reputation. She tried rebranding online, new vibe, posts about growth, but her past caught up. 3 months ago, she dated Brad, a tech founder who didn't know her history. She posted about their perfect connection, but Sarah, her ex-best friend, tipped off Brad's ex, Emma, who showed him the evidence screenshots, stories from me, Jonah, and the other guys. Brad dumped her and spread the word. Mila's now burned to social circles in 6 months. Last month, Jonah messaged me, thanking me for exposing her. He's dating someone new who treats him right and said my actions saved him from more pain. Mila even tried contacting him, begging to make amends, but he shut her down. I'm not here to be your test run at being decent. Anna and I are planning a Chicago trip to meet my family. I'm beyond happy and ready to close this chapter. Thanks for following this wild ride. Reddit. This is my last update unless something insane happens. Story to my wife was scheming to fleece me and vanish with her ex, but I overheard her plans and recorded it all. This unfolded 2 days ago, and I'm still reeling. My hands tremble as I write, and sleep has been elusive since it happened. I'm Adrian, 34, married to Daphne for nearly 2 years, together for 4. I run Miller Grounds, a chain of specialty coffee shops I started 5 years ago, with funds from selling my late father's vintage car collection, his legacy to me. I poured it into building something meaningful, growing from 1 shop to 7, across the Bay Area. It's not a coffee empire, but last year's $2.3 million revenue felt like proof I'd made my dad proud. What likely saved me was my college friend Stephen, a lawyer, insisting on a prenup when Daphne and I got engaged. I resisted, feeling it implied distrust and seemed like planning for defeat. But Stephen was adamant. The prenup safeguards Miller Grounds entirely, every location, the brand, intellectual property, trade secrets, supplier ties, and future growth, plus my personal assets from before the marriage. Daphne signed it after her lawyer's review, though she seemed preoccupied, constantly checking her phone that day. 2 days ago, I came home early at 2 p.m. to grab documents for an investor meeting. Not my usual 7 p.m. Daphne's car was in the driveway, expected since she works from home as a freelance graphic designer, though her client work has been sparse lately. Heading to my office, I heard her voice from our bedroom upstairs, door shut as she typically works in the living room. Her hushed, scheming tone stopped me at the stairs. She said, "Mom, I've waited almost 2 years. It's time to act." My gut churned. I crept up halfway, feeling like an intruder in my own home, but instinct urged me to listen. Her next words shattered me. "The plan hasn't changed. I'll file for divorce after our 2nd anniversary next month. By then, the marriage looks solid enough to claim I helped grow the business significantly. Felix thinks I could get half, maybe more, if I spin an emotional abuse story well." I gripped the railing to steady myself. Felix, her college ex, the one she swore was out of her life. Why was she discussing my business with him? Her words cut deeper. "The coffee shops are worth so much more now. Even with that prenup Aid made me sign. Felix says we can get around it, community property laws, claiming coercion, or proving I contributed ideas or emotional support. We just need the right angle and judge." My hands shook as I started recording on my phone. She went on, "I've been siphoning money from our joint account, small amounts, so Adrian doesn't notice. I've also bought Felix some nice gifts to shift assets." I could barely breathe. 2 years of marriage, believing we were building a life while she played me. The best part, Mom. Adrian's so gullible. He thinks I care about his coffee shops and his talk of honoring his dad's legacy. I'm just biding time to take half and disappear. She and Felix were already eyeing properties in Portland to start over where I couldn't find them. The 22-minute recording captured her entire plot to ruin me and flee with another man, detailing how she'd been faking support while resenting every second and building a case that I was controlling. I sat in my car for 2 hours, replaying the recording, stunned. How do you process your wife being a con artist? How do you act normal when the person you love most is plotting your downfall? I haven't confronted her yet. When I went back inside, she was cooking dinner, asking about my day with her usual sweet smile, a lie I now saw through. I muttered something about work and hid in my office. Part of me wants to demand answers, but Stephen's advice, don't decide anything emotional, keeps me in check. Looking back, things make sense. Her disinterest in the business, dodging long-term plans, changing the subject when I mentioned expansion. Am I losing it? Is this real? Has anyone faced this kind of betrayal? It feels like I'm in a twisted movie, where my trusted partner is the villain. Edit. Yes, I've saved the recording in multiple places, including the cloud. I'm calling Stephen Monday morning. Update 1 posted 2 weeks ago. I called Stephen at 7 a.m. Monday from my car to avoid Daphne overhearing and played the recording. After a long silence, he said, "Audrine, we meet today. Don't tip Daphne off. Act normal. Can you do it?" I spent the morning faking it, dying inside as she made breakfast, and kissed me goodbye like always, now clearly an act. At lunch, Stephen explained that while the prenup is strong, divorce law is tricky. Daphne's plan had some legal weight. If she could prove contributions to the business or claim the prenup was signed under duress, she might challenge it. Her consulting someone with legal know-how meant she wasn't bluffing. Stephen connected me with a private investigator, and we started strategizing, with about 3 weeks before she'd likely file. The investigation began immediately, pulling 2 years of joint account records and monitoring her social media. We installed tracking software on our shared computer. The findings were worse than I thought. Over 8 months, Daphne had transferred $31,847 from our joint account to a secret one in small, sneaky amounts, $1,200 to $2,500 every few weeks. The money funded purchases I didn't know about. An $8,500 Rolex she claimed was for her brother, shipped to Felix's address. Lavish dinners for 2. A deposit for a Mendocino getaway. The investigator found she'd been meeting Felix shops, restaurants, his apartment while I worked. By Thursday, pretending was unbearable. I was barely eating or sleeping, on the verge of breaking. Though Stephen urged waiting, I couldn't. After dinner, I asked her to talk seriously. She snapped, "What did I do now?" Like I was always accusing her. "Daphne, I know about your divorce plan to take the business," I said. Her reaction followed Stephen's prediction. Shock, confusion, calculation, then denial. "What's wrong with you? Are you having a breakdown?" she said, her concern fake, her eyes cold. "You're scaring me with this paranoia." I called out her call with her mom about Felix, the prenup, and fleeing to Portland. She paused, calculating, then burst into tears. "Baby, how could you think that? I'd never do that after all we've been through." She tried to hug me. I stepped back. Her surprise was real. Her usual tactics weren't working. "So you're not filing for divorce after our anniversary?" I asked Adrian. "You're paranoid. Maybe the business stress is affecting you. We should see a therapist. The nervsy's plotting to steal my life's work and says I need help." "What about the money you've moved?" I asked. Her mask slipped briefly. Pure panic. "That's our money, Adrian. Just because you earn more, doesn't mean I can't spend it on a Rolex for Felix." Silence. She'd slipped. Then she flipped, yelling I never trusted her, that the prenup proved I didn't love her, that I was controlling and financially abusive. She claimed I made her feel trapped. I recorded it all, per Stephen's advice. She stormed out, saying she'd stay with her sister to think about our marriage. She's been gone since Friday, no contact. Stephen says she's likely meeting lawyers, scrambling to salvage her plan. I'm a wreck. How do you trust again after this? How do you believe in love when someone fakes it so well? Edit. We have home security cameras, and I've saved footage of her moving things out while I was at work. Update to posted 1 week ago. Divorce papers were served yesterday at my office, and Daphne's demands are unhinged. She wants 50% of Miller Grounds, including all 7 locations and future expansions. Our $1.2 million penthouse, $8,000 monthly, spousal support for 10 years, half my retirement accounts, both cars, and 25% of future profits. Her filing paints me as an abusive husband who controlled her finances, isolated her, made her feel worthless, and coerced her into signing the prenup. She claims she contributed intellectual property, emotional labor, and business support menu ideas, location scouting, staff training, branding. It's all lies. She visited the shops maybe 10 times, showed no interest in operations, and skipped the one scouting trip I invited her to, but we were ready. Stephen's been building our case for weeks. The investigator uncovered more texts between Daphne and Felix for nearly a year, like, "Can't wait to drop this act and be with you openly," and Adrian's clueless, "I'm still the perfect wife." They planned their Portland life with my money. We found she opened a credit card in my name 3 months ago, forging my signature, racking up $18,000 for her affair. Felix, we learned, is a paralegal at a firm, specializing in messy divorces, using his expertise to target my prenup. This isn't just divorce, there's potential criminal fraud and legal malpractice. We filed a counter-response, froze joint accounts, shut down the fraudulent card, changed house locks, and cut her access to Miller Grounds. Last night, after a week of silence, Daphne texted, "Adrian, we can fix this. I love you. Don't let lawyers ruin us. Meet for coffee." She thinks sweet talk erases a year of scheming. I didn't reply. She texted for an hour, begging and guilting, until I blocked her. Then her mom called. "Adrian, there's a misunderstanding. Daphne's devastated. She loves you." I said, "Mrs. Langford, I have recordings of you two planning this. You knew." She claimed I misheard, that Daphne was just venting, that the $31,000 and Rolex were family gifts. I hung up. They're delusional, gaslighting even with evidence. Stephen says they're panicking because our proof is overwhelming. I'm not sad anymore, just furious. She chose the wrong target, and now she faced consequences. Edit. The credit card fraud is a felony in California. Stephen says, will press charges if she doesn't settle. Final update posted 3 days ago. It's done. Daphne signed the settlement this morning, ending my nightmare. At yesterday's conference, she was on her 3rd lawyer, her first to quit after seeing our evidence. Her new attorney looked terrified. Stephen presented like he was dismantling a crime ring, playing the 22-minute recording of Daphne's scheme with her mom. He read her texts. "Can't wait to be done with this charade. And once I get half, we're set in Portland." He showed bank records of her $31,847 theft, the forged credit card with $18,000 in charges, and proof the Rolex went to Felix. The mediator, seasoned in divorce cases, was stunned and asked if her lawyer disputed the evidence. He didn't. Stephen stressed the prenup's strength and her fabricated contributions, saying she's lucky we offered any settlement instead of just criminal charges. The deal: she gets no business share, no spousal support, no retirement funds, no inheritance, no future profits. She keeps her Honda Civic, personal belongings, clothes, jewelry I bought, and some shared furniture. She's barred from contacting me, coming near Miller Grounds, or speaking publicly about me or the business. She leaves with $62,000 in debt, and a potential criminal record if she doesn't repay. Felix was served today for return of stolen gifts, possible criminal charges, and a bar complaint for malpractice. At signing, Daphne tried one last manipulation, tearfully saying, "Adrian, I loved you. These were mistakes. I hope you'll forgive me." I replied, "Daphne, a year of planned fraud and cheating isn't a mistake, it's a crime. I'll never think of you again." 3 weeks ago, I thought my marriage was solid. Now, I'm single. My business is safe. I'm $62,000 richer than if she'd succeeded. And I've learned to trust my instincts. Stephen jokes about prenups on first dates, but I'm happy being single, focusing on rebuilding trust in myself. Thanks, Reddit, for keeping me grounded and pushing me to fight back. Edit. Daphne and Felix are still together, as far as I know. Good luck to him with someone who planned fraud against someone she loved.